A gunshot echoes through the night. Detective Charlie Hudson falls to the ground, leaving Rex barking desperately at his side. The screen fades to black, and fans are left with one burning question. Has Hudson's final case come to a tragic end? The Season 8 finale of Hudson and Rex didn't just shook it, broke hearts, and left millions of viewers fearing the unthinkable. Could this be John Reardon's last goodbye? Season 8 of Hudson and Rex has been one of the most intense chapters in the series so far. From the very first episode, the writers placed Detective Hudson in a whirlwind of danger, trust, and loyalty. With Rex at his side, Hudson faced criminals who were smarter, deadlier, and more ruthless than ever before. Each case seemed to test not only his detective skills, but also his emotional resilience. Throughout the season, fans watched as Hudson grew more vulnerable. We saw him deal with the physical risks of his job, but also the emotional toll of being the man who must always remain strong in the face of chaos. Rex wasn't just a partner, he was Hudson's anchor. The loyalty between man and dog became more important than ever, reminding fans that this series is as much about trust and companionship as it is about solving crimes. As the episodes built toward the finale, the tension became impossible to ignore. Clues were carefully placed moments when Hudson was almost too tired, too distracted, or in too much danger to come out unscathed. Longtime viewers sensed that something bigger was on the horizon, but no one expected it would end with a cliffhanger. So devastating, by the time the finale arrived, fans had been primed for high stakes. Yet the writers managed to raise the tension even further. They crafted a finale that didn't just end. A case that left the future of the entire show in doubt. When Hudson was ambushed and shot, it wasn't just another dramatic twist. It was a gut punch. The very foundation of the show, Hudson's bond with Rex, was suddenly at risk. And for fans who have followed 8 seasons of that bond, it was the kind of ending that forces you to sit in stunned. Silence long after the credits roll. Asterisk, it wasn't just another case. It wasn't just another chase. This finale carried a different weight. The kind of weight you can feel in your chest even before the first shot is fired. Charlie Hudson, the detective we've trusted for years to outsmart criminals and walk away standing, found himself cornered in a way no one saw coming. The air was tense, the shadows darker than usual. Rex's instincts were sharper, as if even he could sense that danger was closing in. Then it happened. A single flash, sound that cuts through silence and memory all at once. It's unmistakable. Crack of a gun. Hudson's body jerks, his balance breaks, and he collapses. Rex rushes to his side, barking desperately, pawing at his fallen partner as if his voice alone could pull him back. It was a moment that felt less like television and more like reality pressing down. Fans who had grown used to Hudson always surviving, always escaping by the narrowest margin, suddenly faced the terrifying possibility that this time he might not get back up. The camera didn't linger long. The scene was raw, quick, and cruel. Just enough to show us Hudson's pain, but not enough to answer the question tearing at viewers. Is he gone? The screen faded, but the silence it left behind was louder than any gunshot. It was the kind of ending that forces you to grip your seat, rewind in disbelief, and ask yourself if you really saw what you think you saw. And that's where the brilliance and the cruelty of the writers revealed itself. They didn't just give us a cliffhanger, they gave us a wound that fans carried with them long after the credits rolled, into online forums, into conversations, into every corner of the fandom. Hudson wasn't just a character who got shot, he was the beating heart of the show. And the writers dared to pause that heartbeat in front of millions. This wasn't just shock value, it was a calculated strike, designed to stir panic, grief, and endless speculation. Because when a show like Hudson and Rex risks its lead in such a brutal way, it isn't simply an ending, it's a question mark that echoes louder with every replay. Asterisk, the bullet may have hit Hudson, but the bigger impact struck the fans. In that single moment, another question began to spread like wildfire. Was this the writer's way of saying goodbye to John Reardon? For 8 seasons, he has been the face of Charlie Hudson's steady, sharp, and deeply human. His chemistry with Rex isn't just acting, It feels like a bond built from years of trust, both on and off screen. So when he fell, it wasn't only the character at risk, it was the actor himself. The very core of the show. Speculation exploded almost instantly. Viewers know that when a beloved lead is left in a life-or-death situation, it often signals something bigger behind the scenes. Could John Reardon be ready to step away after nearly a decade in the role? Has he chosen to close this chapter of his career? The possibility feels all too real, because television history is filled with farewells. Disguised as cliffhangers? Fans remember other long-running dramas where the finale hinted at tragedy, only to return with an announcement that the lead was gone for good. Could Hudson and Rex be following that same path? Adding fuel to the fire are the whispers of cast changes. Over the years, the series has shifted dynamics, introducing new faces, new threats, and new partnerships. But none of those changes ever touched the bond between Hudson and Rex. To shake that bond now, to remove Hudson from the picture, wouldn't just change the show. It would rewrite its entire heartbeat. That's why the finale felt like more than just suspense. It felt like a warning. And yet, there's another side to this. Reardon has spoken in past interviews about how much he loves the role, how deeply he values the connection between Hudson and Rex. Could the cliffhanger simply be a trick, a way to keep viewers on edge while the story prepares for Hudson's triumphant return? In television, shock doesn't always equal goodbye. It can also mean rebirth. Maybe this is the writer's way of showing us Hudson's lowest point before he rises again, scarred but stronger. For now, the truth remains hidden, locked away in scripts we haven't seen and decisions only the creators know. But the question lingers like an open wound. Is this cliffhanger the last we'll ever see of John Reardon as Charlie Hudson, or just the start of his most personal battle yet? Asterisk, every great cliffhanger opens two doors, one that leads to tragedy and one that leads to survival. With Hudson lying on the ground and Rex howling in the dark, the future of Hudson and Rex now balances between those doors. And fans can't stop asking what comes next. If Hudson survives, the show could transform into something deeper than we've ever seen. Imagine a season where the detective we once knew as unshakable is forced to rebuild himself, body and spirit. The scars of that gunshot would linger, not just on his skin, but in his mind. We could see him questioning his strength, leaning on Rex more than ever before. Rex, loyal as always, could become more than a partner. He could be Hudson's lifeline, pulling him out of the shadows of trauma. This storyline wouldn't just be about crime-solving anymore. It would be about resilience, healing, and the bond that no bullet could break. But what if the other door opens? What if the writers are preparing for a darker shift, a world where Hudson doesn't return? The idea alone sends a chill down the spine. Rex without Hudson isn't just strange. It feels almost impossible. Yet, television history shows us that sometimes creators gamble on heartbreak, removing the very heart of a series to see if it can beat with new blood. Could a new detective step into Hudson's shoes? Could Rex learn to trust someone else? It's a risky path, but one that would force the show into uncharted territory. And then there's the most unpredictable option, the middle road. Hudson survives, but he isn't the same. Maybe he can't return to the field right away. Maybe another detective joins temporarily, creating tension and rivalry, while Rex struggles to adapt. That storyline would give fans both the comfort of Hudson's survival and the drama of a shifting partnership, no matter which direction the writers choose. One thing is certain, the finale has forever changed the landscape of Hudson and Rex. The show can't return to business as usual. Whether Hudson rises, falls, or fades into memory, the story will echo with that gunshot for seasons to come. And fans will be watching, breath held, waiting for the moment when the future is finally revealed. Asterisk, the moment the credits rolled, the internet lit up like wildfire. Social feeds, forums, and fan groups became digital crime scenes of their own, filled with theories, debates, and desperate hopes. For many, Hudson's fall was more than a shocking twist. It was personal. After 8 seasons, viewers don't just watch Hudson and Rex, they live it. And when their hero hit the ground, they felt the wound too. One corner of the fandom believes survival is inevitable. These fans argue that the writers wouldn't dare separate Hudson and Rex for good. They point to the show's heart, the unbreakable bond between man and dog, as proof that Hudson will recover. For them, the shooting is a dramatic device, a way to pull the audience deeper into Hudson's journey, but not the end of it. You can't have Rex without Hudson, they say, echoing across comment threads like a mantra. Others, though, take a darker view. They fear that the finale was a quiet farewell to John Reardon. They analyze the subtle clues: Hudson's growing vulnerability, the heavy emotional beats earlier in the season, even Reardon's quieter public presence, and interpret them as signs of departure. To these fans, the gunshot wasn't just suspense, it was goodbye wrapped in mystery. And then there are the dreamers, the ones spinning wild theories late into the night. Some suggest a secret storyline involving Hudson going undercover, his death a cover to take down a bigger threat. Others imagine a season where Rex himself becomes the emotional center, guiding a new partner while never letting go of Hudson's spirit. These theories, no matter how far-fetched, reveal one truth. Fans refuse to accept a world where Hudson's story simply ends. The reactions aren't just speculation. They're grief, hope, and love, written in real time. Tweets filled with crying, emojis, Reddit posts dissecting every second of the finale, Facebook groups rallying around Hudson's survival. The fandom has become part of the story now, their voices echoing louder than ever. And in their passion, one thing is clear. Hudson and Rex isn't just a show, it's a bond. And that bond is now in question. Asterisk, a single shot, a man down. The loyal dog refusing to leave his side. That's how Season 8 left us, on the edge of our seats, hearts pounding, and questions burning with no answers in sight. This wasn't just another cliffhanger. It was the kind of ending that rewrites everything we thought we knew about Hudson and Rex. Because whether Hudson lives, dies, or disappears into the shadows, nothing will ever be the same again. For 8 seasons, Detective Charlie Hudson and Rex have stood as a symbol of trust, loyalty, and unbreakable partnership. Week after week, fans tuned in not just to see crimes solved, but to see a man and a dog lean on each other in ways that felt more real than fiction. That's why this finale hurts so deeply. It struck at the core of what the show represents. Without Hudson, Rex isn't just losing a partner, he's losing family. And fans aren't just losing a character, they're losing the heart of the story they love. But maybe that's exactly why the writers left us here. On a question, not an answer. Because now the story doesn't just live on screen, it lives in us, in every debate, in every fan theory, in every sleepless night replaying that gunshot in our heads. The uncertainty keeps the conversation alive, makes us feel connected, binds us together as a community desperate for closure. So now, the spotlight turns to you, the fans. Do you believe Hudson will rise again, scarred but unbroken, or do you fear that this finale was John Reardon's quiet curtain call, his final bow after 8 unforgettable seasons? The truth is locked away in the future, but your voice matters now more than ever. Drop your theories, your hopes, and even your fears in the comments, because whether Hudson's story continues or not, one thing is undeniable. Hudson and Rex has left its mark. And the gunshot that ended Season 8 will echo in television history for years to come. The question is no longer just what happens next. The question is, can we handle the answer when it comes? Asterisk, when the screen went black, it wasn't just the end of a season. It was the beginning of a legacy moment. Every long-running series eventually faces that one turning point. The chapter where the story could break apart or rise higher than ever before. For Hudson and Rex, this gunshot may be that moment. Because no matter what happens next, the finale has carved itself into the DNA of the show forever. Think about what makes Hudson and Rex different from every other crime drama. It isn't just the mysteries, the criminals, or even the cliffhangers. It's the heartbeat of the story, a detective and his dog, saving lives not just with skill but with trust and love. Charlie Hudson wasn't written as a superhero. He was written as a man who could stumble, who could bleed, who could lean on Rex when the weight of the world grew too heavy. That humanity is what made viewers connect. That's why this finale, hit like a storm, it didn't just attack the character. It attacked the core of what fans hold dear. Now, whether Hudson rises or falls, the bond between man and dog will never be looked at the same way again. If he survives, every future scene will carry the shadow of that gunshot, reminding us how fragile even the strongest heroes can be. If he doesn't, Rex becomes more than a partner. He becomes the keeper of Hudson's spirit, carrying the memory forward into every case, every bark, every glance at an empty side. And that's where the true brilliance of this finale lies. It ensured that Hudson and Rex will never again be just another procedural drama. It has become a story of legacy, of how trust, loyalty, and love can survive even when life itself is uncertain. The show has dared to ask its fans a painful question. Do we follow the journey because of the destination, or because of the bond that carries us through? So whether this is John Reardon's goodbye, or simply the darkest night before dawn, one truth remains unshaken. Hudson and Rex has already written its place in television history. And long after the screen fades, the bond between Hudson and Rex will live on, not just on set, but in the hearts of everyone who believed in their story.